welcome back to the MMA Split Pick Show for a massive pay-per-view card. UFC 269 is here. We have 2 title fights, 15 fights in total, assuming that some don't drop off, and we haven't had the weigh-ins yet, so let's not hold our breath there. But a stacked card all the way through, some highly significant fights, some big stars, rounding off a fantastic year in the sport. And I'm just going to say it. Ever since Masvidal and Edwards has dropped off, it just hasn't felt the same. Don't mean to be the guy, I'm getting that out the way, but it's not been until this week that it really feels like it's been pushed, like there's been a huge amount of media about it. It doesn't feel like it's on everybody's radar until literally it's the upcoming card. And I don't know, I'm just not feeling that excitement in the air. I have a theory, and I think it's about the main 2 fights. I think everybody already knows what's going to happen in the co-main event. And I think with the main event, fans are in kind of 2 different groups. If you're an Oliveira guy, you think that he's going to go through Dustin Poirier and it's not going to be that competitive. If you're a massive Poirier fan, you think he's going to go through him and break him and it's not going to be that competitive. Honestly, I think the truth is bang in the middle. I think this is razor thin, razor close. I've actually changed my mind a couple of times on this one. So
I think everyone has.
We will get
I never changed my mind.
He has not changed his mind.
I know who's going to win this. I still know who's going to win this. I've seen the future. I've been there. I've come back from the future to the past to now tell you in the present, Oliveira is going to win.
This regional manager position's really lit a fire under you. You're a new man. It's really come to life.
He's got no time.
No, and what he's saying is it's lost a little bit of excitement, but there's still a tremendous amount to be excited for.
Why
I think
we
you're
lost
just trying to make
excitement?
it Christmas early. That's all.
Masvidal Edwards was that.
Oh,
it was that Gaethje Chandler. It was that X factor on the card. That extra little bit of fucking sauce on top.
But we've looking at the prelims though. It's just ridiculous. Plus, your boy Eric Anders is fighting.
Eric Anders, Randy Costa, Ryan Hall.
Yeah, man. How about
Maverick?
Is Ryan Hall fighting, or is he just going to roll on the floor until the fight stops?
Ryan Hall is going to be Ryan Hall, and it's going to be glorious as long as he doesn't have to fight Ilia Topuria. That might be one of the best featherweights in the division. We're going to find out that when he fights next. We got to talk about the main event first. It's the lightweight fight. It is probably the most prestigious fight this year. And what's at stake for these guys? You're never really a true champion if you win a vacant belt until you defend that belt. It's because you're not the guy that beat the guy. But everyone forgets that when you get a true defense against an absolute legitimate number 1 contender.
You know the guy that said they got hit by a train, though, yeah? Just saying.
No, that guy said that you're not a true champion until you defend the belt. I think that's horseshit. I'm saying that in the event of winning a vacant belt, people don't quite view you the same until you win it, until you get a defense, because you haven't beaten the guy who beat the guy. You know, even if you beat the guy and then lose your next fight, you still beat the guy. And I think that's the big differential. And it's still
and we're taking the ghost of Khabib out of this. He's gone. We're over it. Okay, I can get behind that. That sounds reasonable.
Again, I still think it's bullshit because 100% Charles Oliveira is a beast. He beat a former 2-time Bellator world champion to win that belt and earned his way all the way through the division. But this is a fight to legitimize him. And for Poirier, this is the opportunity, his second shot that he's been looking for his whole career, to tick the final box, to get that world championship title. He's had the interim. He's been so close. He's had a fantastic year. And, you know, he probably also knows that there's not that many chances after this. This might be the last chance, with the division being stacked and with Makhachev coming through and all the rest. So on top of that, I'll say this as well. If Poirier wins this fight in any way, he's fighter of the year. I think it's between him and Usman at the moment.
What?
I don't know. I think that's pretty fair. I mean,
Wow.
to
Who else
finish
is there?
McGregor twice and wins the lightweight belt against Charles Oliveira. That's the best year for a UFC fighter.
I'm just glad he's not going to win because I could not have to watch Poirier smirk and tell us all about how he won the belt because he deserved it, because he was trying hard and he trained so much. And oh God, it's so fucking cheesy. Do you reckon that's why he does that hot sauce? Because it's so cheesy. He needs to put some spice to it. Otherwise, he'd just be like cheese and milk and dairy. I don't know, man. I don't know why anyone has.
I don't understand you, because if you spoke Portuguese or just listened to what the translator of Charles Oliveira says, you'd realize he says exactly the same thing. I've worked hard to get here. I've earned it. They're both.
I'm not saying they're really nice guys. They're both super nice guys. Yeah, they're both super nice guys.
And as much as they're physically gifted guys, these guys are technically gifted guys, tactically gifted guys. You know, we've got a real fighter's fight. It's going to be insane.
Yeah. They're really nice guys. One of them is cheesy nice, and the other one's just like generally a nice guy.
Yeah, no, we get it. You love one of them, you hate the other one for no reason at all. It is what it is.
There's reasons. There's reasons. The way he smiles, the way he walks, most of the shit he says, the way he says it, I don't like Poirier, man. I
want to have you back.
I'm gonna, you know what?
None of those are reasons, unless
I'm gonna order some of that Poirier hot sauce. All right. I'm gonna try it out, just so that I can 100% say I don't like the guy. Fuck it. If he wins a fight, I'll order some Poirier hot sauce. And that's gonna be expensive because it's import from America. But if he loses the fight, I'll order some of his fucking hot sauce. All right.
Okay,
so mate, these scumbag philanthropists, well, they get off.
And I'll bring it over for Christmas.
They're both great. They both deserve it. This will be this title fight will have the most total number of UFC fights ever in a title fight. These are the two most decorated, hardened guys, have been there since the beginning, have worked their way up. And, you know, in reality, here's
this
one of
really more fights or more wins than Lawler Condit?
UFC fights specifically, I believe, not more total career fights. The previous one was Bisping Henderson.
Shit! Yeah, no, of course. I say Lawler Condit put up some fucking numbers before that fight, you know.
True. But the thing is, Lawler it was in the UFC, and then he was out of the UFC for a while. So
yeah, I was thinking title fights. I think if title fights between the two of them, you're not far off triple digits. Same with Bisping Henderson, probably a little bit closer.
UFC fights, what they've earned from that. But forget all of this. What is everyone talking about with this fight? They're talking about heart. They're talking about will. And let's remove the idea that, you know, willpower and all the rest. Let's just look at this technically for a second. The worry Poirier's got with Oliveira is that at most ranges and in most all ground situations, Oliveira's got the upper hand, big time. He's longer, he's good at range, he fights longer. If it gets into a clinch situation, he can pull guard, he can try and take the fight to the ground. Poirier's got to be in that close inside boxing range. And my worry about how he looks to get there quite often is exposing himself a little bit. And you look at the Michael Chandler fight and you think, how did he get knocked out? Well, he threw a big overhand and then he got hit by a sharp left hook. And I can see Poirier being in positions potentially where he's going to get hit with something like that. Having said that, if he can close the distance, he hits hard in combination and it can be very difficult to deal with. He can break. I mean, he's broken some of the hardest people in the lightweight division. Eddie Alvarez eventually succumbed to the pressure. You know, the way he finished Gaethje, what he did to McGregor.
Eddie Alvarez, it was off the back of both times Eddie Alvarez probably could have won that fight if he didn't foul. In the second one, Poirier does really well, and it's not immediately off the reset. But Eddie Alvarez has him in a real bad position up against the cage, lands a very stupid illegal elbow, loses the position, has the reset, and then maybe less than a minute later, Poirier's got him banged to rights. But I'm interrupting for the wrong reasons. Just wanted to give Eddie a little bit of love.
I get you.
If he wasn't a fucking moron, mate, he'd be the best.
To be fair, in the first fight, Poirier was winning that fight pretty handily, and then Eddie landed the illegal knee, and Poirier couldn't continue the illegal elbow, and Poirier couldn't continue. So
no, I think the first one was a knee.
The knee, that's right. Yeah. The point is Poirier was winning the first fight, felt it got taken away from him.
Yeah, but Eddie fouled in what could have led to a finishing sequence. You know, like he had good positions there, and it's
that's
Eddie.
True.
So, but yeah, you're right, man. He takes what's the old sporting cliche, the immovable force, the unstoppable force against the immovable
object.
Poirier is the immovable object. He takes finishers and he drags them into wars of attrition. That being said, you know, some of the way that Oliveira, you know, the way he finishes fights matches up quite nicely with Poirier. Similarly, like you say, Poirier's got a lot of strength in there. And truth be told, if you can brute force your way out of things on a top position, you can get away with making a few mistakes against Oliveira. Also, because he's so smart and self-aware and opportunistic that he won't reach for a choke on something that he's not really going to get. But I just kind of think back to that Paul Felder fight. Paul Felder made so many mistakes in the ground game there and was able to kind of just power through them.
There's truth.
Poirier's a big guy. He's a strong guy. Oliveira's bigger than he was back then. I think we could get some good, interesting grappling exchanges as long as Poirier is on top. I think if Oliveira is on top, it's probably going to move to something where he's going to finish sooner or later. But
well, the other factor is that Poirier's experience in fighting Khabib, even though he got more than that, there's nothing Oliveira is going to do apart from take away the submission threat in terms of position and control and top dominance and grappling. He's seen the worst of that. He's seen as tough gets on that side. And he still survived, 2.5 rounds, basically, and almost had his moment. So it's, but Charles Oliveira is so slick. He can pull that choke out of anywhere, and he'll go for it in positions that will expose him if he gets it wrong. He's willing to take that kind of chance. When people talk about willpower, I think this is the only unfair thing. Dustin Poirier was very much broken in the third round by Khabib. I'm sure that you can point at fights of both guys. They both had losses on their record. There's moments where you doubt yourself and it happens. And the fact that both of these guys are here kind of nullifies all of that anyway, because they've survived from that and pushed on. Here's a fact, though. Charles Oliveira has never seen the championship rounds. He's the only champion in the UFC that has not ever been to a round 4 or a round 5.
He doesn't need to.
That's one argument.
That's because all his decisions have been in 3-round fights. But he's a great fighter. They're both proven finishers. They're both smart fighters. There's nothing really to suggest that Charles Oliveira would have any kind of cardio issues, but it's a different kind of thing. If Charles Oliveira is cruising to a decision, he's being very effective with his energy. Kind of like the Tony Ferguson fight. Just, dominate him. That's it. You haven't got to kill yourself. Just dominate him. The guy doesn't tap, apparently, so fuck it. Just dominate him. They can both get it done. They can both go deep. Poirier has some of the best hands for me in the lightweight division. He's right up there. Oliveira is so crisp with the counters and everything. Oh, I'm so excited for this fight. I don't understand people that think it isn't close. It's a weird opinion to have. I've gone back and forth on this so many times. Ultimately, though, the way I see it is, I don't want to more or less be tied for Sly coming into the main event and have both gone the same way. Okay, I don't want to tie with you. I want to beat you. So I'm going Poirier by KO.
You shall lose. Oh, I know why you don't want to be tied, because I might be correct. I'm going to go for Oliveira.
Of course.
Fuck it, I want to knock him out. Knockout.
Chael Sonnen is
He's not
a
fighting.
man.
You can't pick him.
Is a man with a curse.
What is he doing?
Every single time Chael Sonnen picks a fighter to win, that fighter loses. And he picked Poirier. And so it's been really difficult for me to not pick Oliveira based on this. But God damn it, I'm going with heart. I'm backing Poirier because I didn't back him twice this year against McGregor. And I feel a little bad about that.
Twice you didn't back him.
I didn't back him. I thought I picked him to lose back in January. And even though I think I might have officially picked him to win,
we both picked him to lose in the first fight. We didn't feel good about it. We said that. Did you pick him in the rematch? Well, not the rematch.
I don't know if I officially did, but I kind of didn't really believe he was going to. Like, Sly was next to me, and I was fucking nervous as shit.
Was Tom there as well? No, that was the other one.
Yeah.
Different one. I'm going to pick Poirier by knockout. Fuck it. Let's go.
All right. Are we actually going to talk about the next fight?
Juliana Pena is a chick with some balls, because she might have said some mad shit to get this fight, but she did that with a complete voluntary willingness to fight Amanda Nunes. Like, no one made her. She wasn't ranked number one. Nobody's like put a gun to her head and said, you have to fight for the title. No, I don't want to. So she deserves some credit. And I think I think this is going to be fun. Like, I think she's just going to fucking go for it. You know what I mean? I think she's just going to like die on the sword. I don't think she gives a fuck. She's going to go in there and she's either going to get tapped or napped, or knocked out. But she's going to go for it. She's going to move forward. She's going to make mistakes. She's going to, even if she takes big shots, just keep going forward. And I think she's going to get knocked the fuck out in a really entertaining way.
Kind of agree. I mean, you never know. She might find a way to make a round close. Hey, where's mine?
It's Mia. Go check out her Twitch stream on Peaches.
Wow. Thank you. Make sure burgers.
Yeah, does anyone think that this is going to go the distance?
Matt, no, hang on, sorry.
I think that no one that's ever watched UFC thinks that.
Oh, stop. Pause. I'm okay when you're like eating like a pizza or like a shit fucking little sandwich that you knocked apart in like 30 seconds or whatever. But I think you should put that to the side. You should eat that when we're done. We're recording right now.
All right.
This isn't cool.
It's actually more in line with the camera.
Sorry, my time is precious.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry now. The fuck?
Yeah, me
this
too.
Isn't cool.
Shit happens though. Shit happens.
Sorry, Josh. I never meant to make you feel hungry.
I just don't think it's okay for you to eat nice food.
So, do you not think my shitty sandwiches are nice? My epic fucking pizzas.
I mean, you complained to me for like 20 minutes about that pizza before we started recording and you started eating. But yeah. You didn't sell that pizza at all. You were complaining about that pizza.
I was just trying to be nice. This burger's really hot. You probably
looks
enjoy
fantastic.
It's really not that great.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I hate hot food.
Spicy. It's got no cheese in it.
Takeaway, or Mia actually made that for you?
Mia made it. She fucking killed the cow and everything, man.
Is that brioche and all?
What?
It's brioche
Matt,
bun.
Knock out his hand, Matt.
No, it's a bit
Knock out his
sugary.
hand.
Matt just slaps
He's
it.
got hummus.
Matt,
He's got some guacamole.
Do it for the
I'm not-
views.
Never fuck with a man and his food after a hard day's work. It's just not
No,
cool.
I'm not talking about a man. I'm talking about Sly. Just,
What?
huh?
I feel like
You eat your burger.
your hunger has turned to jealousy, and your jealousy is turning into hatred.
And look how his
Yeah.
lights are doing now. It's creating this like dark shadow, like he thinks he's the emperor. Sitting.
Oh no, I'm not the Emperor, mate. I'm
The
Anakin.
Emperor's hungry.
Mate, Anakin's story does not end
He's
well.
Yoda, I'm Anakin.
At least you don't have to smell it. Matt has to smell
Yeah.
it.
Burger takes to anger.
Do we go back to the Amanda fight?
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Does anyone think this is going the distance?
I'm gonna vote for KO by Amanda Nunes.
So that would be a no.
Yeah, I'm thinking KO.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
submission.
Pena's tough. Like Pena's like no fucking joke. She's just, she's just a really, really good MMA athlete. She's not a goat. And, you know, this is the GOAT in her true weight class. Never mind what she does to women that weigh 10,
10
15
pounds
pounds more than Pena. Like, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, you got to go with Nunes. You'd be crazy not to. I'm thinking KO.
I think submission. Juliana Pena will get rocked. She'll still go in for the takedown, and that's going to allow Nunes to, lock in an armbar or a triangle or whatever she needs. Guillotine.
Yeah. Truth is, Nunes has so many ways to finish this fight. It's impossible to accurately predict.
See, the most telling moment for me was when she fought Felicia Spencer, and the whole build-up was, Felicia's a more natural 145er, and she can wrestle. She's going to get on the inside and just chain wrestle and never stop trying to land takedowns. She went for one takedown, 10 seconds in, Nunes just grabbed her, tripped her, flipped her over. In that moment, you realized...
Do you reckon Nunes still trains?
Oh, like a beast. Like an absolute beast.
She should stop training, just make it fair.
Well, the thing is, early in her career, really early in her career, ATT would push her really hard to maintain certain training schedules, and she hated it, and she just wasn't engaging in the training in the same way. And, she would struggle with her weight here and there, and she was losing fights that she shouldn't lose. I mean, if you look at the first half of her record throughout her career, you'd be like, there's no fucking way this chick's going to turn out to be the GOAT of both the bantam and featherweight divisions. No fucking way. But once they said, you know what, don't push her so fucking hard, just let her do her thing. Let her kind of do what feels right. She turned into an unstoppable force. No two ways about it. She trains really hard, but there's always these people that have these little knocks on her, she's a little work shy. If you push her too hard, she fucking flakes. But it's very unique to whatever the situation was at ATT at the time, which I've never heard anyone accurately describe. So I don't know if anyone wants to presuppose what happened. I think they're kind of full of shit. But the truth is that it's not necessarily that she works as hard as someone say Shevchenko. It's that she just has this sort of perfect balance between preparation, knowledge, physicality, not being weary, being well rested. Whatever she's doing works fucking perfectly for her.
Also, the thing is that she has got different level power. I mean, she grew up on a farm. She's got that, lifetime of fucking doing chores, raking shit, digging mud, all that kind of stuff. And it makes people strong. And she's matched that with world-class judo, world-class jiu-jitsu, devastating hands. Really, I mean, she knocked out Holly Holm with a head kick. And Holly Holm is one of the most accomplished kickboxers that's ever fought, accomplished boxers and accomplished kickboxers in terms of ability that's ever fought in the UFC in the women's division. So she's different level. She's too physical. She's too technical. But it's going to be fun because Gina Pena is just going to keep going forward. You look at some of the fights that go to a decision. The girl, there's this thing that you can do that kind of Woodley's good at, where you lose the fight, but you don't get yourself knocked out. You just accept that you're getting beaten, you stay safe, and...
Right. Why would anyone want to do that for 5 rounds against Amanda Nunes?
People, it's because eventually it becomes surviving, not winning. It's surviving I made it to the end.
She's already Juliana is already trying to survive now. She's like, fuck, I'm having a panic attack, I can't sleep.
There's a press conference tonight. I think it's going to be fucking jokes.
I don't think she's worried at all. I think she's mentally as prepared for this as any competitor has ever been. I think Juliana Pena is coming into this with legit confidence.
Yeah?
I just don't believe it's going to matter.
Until you fight somebody you don't know. It's like anybody who ever fought Khabib, they could do all the preparation in the world they want. They could hear how devastating it was. But they still tell themselves, he hasn't fought me. I've wrestled this guy. I've dealt with this guy. We've been training this all the time. And it's when you get in there, it's the first punch that she lands where people just go, oh shit. This isn't what I didn't prepare for this. This isn't what I was expecting. What the fuck do I do?
It's like Rob Font last week. Apart from Shevchenko, you never hear anybody that has fought Nunes go, you know what? I feel like I can beat her if I just had another shot. No one even fucking says it, apart from Shevchenko. But Shevchenko actually makes that argument. She has like a legit reason to believe that. She is as good, just slightly smaller.
Yeah. Nunes by submission for me. Let's move on because we've got a lot of fights to talk about. We need to move through them a little quickly. We've got a great welterweight matchup. Jeff Neal taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Is this definitely still happening?
Yeah, as far as I know, his arrest a couple of weeks ago isn't going to affect this.
Is this who got arrested for what? Sorry,
Jeff Neal.
Jeff Neal got picked
DUI.
up for a DUI, yeah.
All right, I'm going to
I think it was
go for
last
this
week.
fight. I'm going to go Santiago by knockout.
There was a gun charge as well, but the gun was legal. It's just that if you're having a legal gun on you whilst you commit a crime, that gun becomes a weapon charge as well.
Wow.
But what usually happens is if you have a decent lawyer, they sort that out. Gets dropped
Interesting. It's not. I would have thought it'd be more of an issue to have a gun while you're drunk. I just can't imagine that's good. Like in the UK, you can't ride a bike when you're drunk, but in America, you can probably open carry.
Well, this is the point.
What's the
So
country?
he was drinking under the influence, driving under the influence, and he had the gun on him. The gun is registered, but obviously for the fact that he was drinking and drunk.
Oh, I
means
thought you
that-
meant because he got picked up for like a driving offense, then the gun automatically becomes okay. That makes a lot more sense. I even without the arrest and was obviously going to be a disruption in a key part of your training and everything else, I was still leaning Pons, just kind of for the what have you done for me lately's, and I'm really high on Miguel Baeza. I thought that was a good win. I'm going Ponzinibbio by decision, but I think Jeff Neal's still going to make a fight of it. I don't know how much it's going to affect him, but
Well,
can't be good,
this is he's had a lot of bad luck because he had a really bad illness, was in hospital and almost died. He's had 2 losses on the bounce now, isn't he? He's lost to Wonder Boy and then he lost to Neil Magny. And in both of those fights, it feels like he just kind of, you saw where his level was. You know what I mean? Stephen Thompson really kind of showed how good he still is. And the Neil Magny fight, he just controlled him in that way that Neil Magny can.
it's hard to argue that you might be like a heavy-handed good all-rounder when you just get absolutely handled by another really solid all-rounder. It definitely took some of the shine off for me.
And the thing is, he's a little short for the division. There's a lot of distance he has to really be up close to land his shots. Pons before his injury was a top, a top 5, top 10 fighter, and being touted as a potential contender. And he's had horrible luck, but he survived it. His mental toughness for just getting through that and still competing shows that he's in this and he's not going to go away easy. And you look even like something like the Baeza fight, where his legs are getting chewed up, but he's able to make that adjustment and work his jab and use his boxing. I can't see past Ponzi. I think even if you take away all of the horrible preparation, even just the fact that he's drunk a couple of weeks out from a fight is not a particularly great sign in terms of how his training's going. I know that, it might have just been a couple of beers and all the rest, and there's a case for that, but it's still, sometimes you're on a bad run and it just feels like all the luck's against you. And I think that's the case here. Ponzi by knockout.
It's in the record as well. The record is pretty insane. Jeff Neal.
I think
13
16-2.
Well, Jeff Neal is 13-4. Ponzinibbio is
29-4.
29-4.
The thing is, Jeff Neal was a contender series guy, though, so he hadn't had that many fights when they jumped him up. And then he did really well. He knocked out Camacho and he knocked out Mike Perry, and that really elevated him. And Bilal Muhammad as well, he beat. So he had
We actually picked him in the Wonder Boy fight.
Yeah. He had these great wins that elevated him, and then he's had some bad luck, and he's not really looked like he's progressed. And it also feels like he's definitely not fighting as well as or as confidently as he was before all of that. But even so, it feels like you're not seeing any progression of ability, game plan, tactics, all this kind of stuff. And Ponzi's a dog, man. I mean, that guy, the way he knocked out Neil Magny. You can't do MMA math, but I'm doing MMA math. Fonzie by knockout. What was yours, Sly? Josh?
Decision.
Kai Kara France is welcoming Cody Garbrandt to the division. And
another exciting one.
Cody Garbrandt's going down in weight. A couple of other former champs have gone down in weight recently, and it's worked out quite well for them. First fight's always a tricky one, though, and Kara France is no fucking slouch, man. That guy is... There's no easy fights in the UFC, but I don't know how Cody's going to deal with the cut. He keeps saying that he didn't.
He's really looking good.
Weight.
He is looking good on the cut.
He looks the same.
I've seen these training photos. The guy is looking pretty fucking ripped. I mean, the guy always looks kind of ripped, but yeah, I don't know. Like, if you're never really cutting, and this is kind of the first time you cut, when I cut for our fight, what I didn't appreciate was how much weight I was going to put back on, like just how much water weight you really can cut. I think he's looking pretty good. I don't know how much it's going to affect his cardio or anything. I think he's just going to be in a good place. I don't know how many times he can do it. It looks like he's living a very disciplined life right now, but he's looking good coming into this one.
Cody Garbrandt.
Oh, you're talking about Cody Garbrandt?
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you're... Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry, Cody. Yeah. Well, obviously, it's going to be his first fight at 125. I guess second scheduled after he kind of lost out on that title opportunity, but I'm assuming, he wins this one. The next one's got to be at least the title eliminator.
Well, there's Askarov, and that's the Joker in the pit.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting fights you could potentially make here at 125, and this is a great fucking fight. This is a really cool fucking fight.
Cody can make this division really interesting because he's a potential superstar if he wins. The question is, does he keep Stone in the hands? And is he still fast for the division? Because if the answer to those two questions is yes, he annihilates Kai Kara France. He hits hard. He under Mark Henry, much more disciplined. I actually thought maybe a bit too disciplined against Rob Font, but he's not going to have to deal with that same size and power. As long as he's 100%, I think his style is going to make it a lot easier for him to land. He's not having to get on the inside of bigger guys as much. I think his takedown defense is going to be fine. I think he knocks out Kai Kara France if he's 100%. But if he doesn't quite have the same power, if the speed isn't the same, if compared to the flyweight guys, he's actually a little slow and he's not able to adapt with that, Kai Kara France has got ways to win this fight. He's very quick, lots of leg kicks.
He's the comeback kid as well. Like, he can eat some shots and keep coming back at you.
This is true. I'm going to back Cody, though.
No.
I want Cody to win. I'm backing Cody.
Cody. I reckon Kai Kara France wins this by decision.
Man, I think he's going to be as close to 100% as he can be at 125. I still think it's going to be a close fight. I don't think there's ever really going to be an opportunity for him to truly destroy Kai Kara France, but I am also picking him by KO. I'm thinking it's going to come late second, early third. It's going to be a good fight, a bit back and forth. These city kickboxing guys, they bring it. They always bring it. I mean, there's not one of them that puts on a shit fight. This is going to be lights out. I'm going Garbrandt by KO, but I think it will be close.
One interjection: when they do the weigh-ins tomorrow, if Kai Kara France gets on the scale and he looks anything like he has the physique of Brad Riddell, one, I'm changing my pick, and two, I might actually agree with you about your theory we talked about on the last episode.
This is not the NFL. You do not get conditional picks, bro.
Yeah, what the fuck is this, man? It's your idea. You don't just change the rules. It's your fucking idea. Right. So, can we go back to a really exciting fight? Or can we go forward to it?
Do you want to massage your boy here? Do you want to wax lyrical?
Mate.
You want to go suck some on Manny dick?
If he says jump, I say how high,
He
So my
says
boy,
chug, you say how deep.
Question first: what do we all think about his current hairstyle for this fight week?
I haven't seen it, but it's fucking awesome. Yeah, man, the guy looks awesome. He talks awesome. He is awesome, and most
What-
of all, he fights with more style than 99% of all the other UFC fighters.
He's going to do his
Oh, he's good.
walkout
He
next
is
to
good.
Takeshi 6ix9ine.
Who?
Takeshi 6ix9ine,
Oh yeah, didn't you
the
have
guy with
tattooed?
6ix9ine on his
Yeah,
face,
yeah,
and who
Pedo.
ratted out on his fucked up gang of all sorts of horrible shit. That guy is going to do his ring walk with O'Malley.
Yeah, the golden snitch.
That's the one.
I mean, honestly, they both got really good records. Obviously, O'Malley is 14-0,
And Takeshi 6ix9ine.
He's got loads of records, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
He's got some
O'Malley's
records.
what?
He's 14-0 because I don't think his loss really counts because of a bit of a freak injury.
Well, it definitely does count. It's
Really?
0 draws, though. I guess you got that one
draws.
right.
Yeah, he's in there. Honestly, I'll be really honest. Okay, I'll be really honest once. I reckon O'Malley's got a
That
fight.
burger wasn't that good.
No, that burger is awesome. But I think O'Malley's got actually a really tough fight here. I think he's, compared to like the last few fights that we've seen him have, I think this guy's actually a fucking tough fight. So I think I'm looking at the odds, and even the odds, I think, I'm not a big O'Malley fan, but I think even the odds are not completely representative of how hard this fight might be. He's 300, underdog, overdog, big dog.
Well,
he's a big dog. But
the thing is, we haven't really seen Sean O'Malley have to fight a real grappler.
that's what I mean.
You know, you think Wineland, you think Quinones, you think Thomas Almeida, Chris Moutinho. None of these guys, they all maybe thought about taking him down, but it's not what their game is built on. And I also think if you look at Piva's first fight at bantamweight, it was against Kyler Phillips, the Matrix, who it's not the same style as O'Malley, nowhere near at that level, but he's that same creative, spinning shit out of nowhere, dangerous striker. And Piva was able to basically survive a lot of that in the first rounds and then implement his grappling and kind of break Kyler Phillips a little bit in the second 2 rounds. So I think maybe they're factoring that in a little bit. I do think that this is going to be interesting. I just feel he's so light on his feet, O'Malley, and they've got, 90% of their training camp must have been dealing with positions on the ground and takedown defense. And when you're that light on your feet, you're that quick. As long as you're not standing in one position, it's so hard to get. They can't really get a double leg. They get a single, and you can kind of hop away.
Well,
On the stats-
he's impossibly elusive.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly jump in. I think maybe 50% of their training camp was on takedowns and submissions because that's who fucking O'Malley and Tim Barwa. And honestly, like the dude has been doing jiu-jitsu tournaments for a long time and has been doing well. And coming out of these tournaments, and I'm reading people that have like rolled against him and stuff and saying like he's actually a pretty cool guy. Like very down to earth and like approaching it in the right way. I've seen these sparring videos where he's taking people down, and I think that he's going to do the same shit that Francis Ngannou's doing at heavyweight, implementing that incredible athleticism and unique skill set with a well-rounded game plan. I think O'Malley's really going to turn into fucking something special in the future. Obviously, everyone knows he's destined for stardom, but I mean, I really think the guy's going to get to a point where he's just fucking taking people down, submitting them, maybe like even like Flash as a GSP just in terms of that like all-round threat.
Well, listen,
This fight... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I know, I was just going to say, listen, I don't like his shtick, but in terms of his ability, unbelievable talent. And he's made fighters that we think are good look terrible.
He's so elusive. He's impossible to pin down. The feints are so next level. Sometimes when he like feints, like spinning shit, and then just like looks at him like, nah, I was never even going to do it. I'm going O'Malley by KO. Howley and Paiva is...
Well, one of the other things I'm going to add, I do actually think that O'Malley's going to take him down. I think it's going to be a very different fight. I think O'Malley is kind of learning a lesson to like, all right, I can hit people a lot, but I end up injuring myself. and then I don't fight for ages. And I think that
I don't
he's
want to break
realized
my
that.
foot again.
Yeah, he's going to break his foot in his hands just punching this guy.
This is the only question I have with O'Malley is durability, because it's the one knock that you have to say is, okay, listen, fighters break their hands in fights. It happens. But broke his hand in the Chris Moutinho fight. Obviously, he had the injury in the Chito Vera fight. He's had the Liz Frank injury and break in his second UFC fight. It's a lot of these injuries stacking up. It's the only thing about him that makes me a little worried is we haven't seen him really tested and take that damage and still kind of go on and win a fight. And past Paiva, when you start looking at the real killers of this division, someone hits him. You know what I mean? Someone's going to hit him fucking hard. And he's going to have to deal with that. And it's the one box that isn't ticked. Do I think Paiva's going to tick that box? No. I think he's going to prove that O'Malley's hard to take down. And if he does, I think O'Malley's going to be very aggressive with submission threats. And he'll use that to escape and get distance. And yeah, I'm going O'Malley KO. I can even see like a flying knee.
I'll give you another fact. Takedown accuracy of Paiva is only 27%. And his submission average per 50 minutes is 0.21, which is, it's tiny. It's like, it's so little. The guy actually
it's one submission every 5 fights.
Yeah, it's not gonna. I don't know. I think I can't see O'Malley losing this because Paiva's a decision winner. He wins most of his fight by decision.
Yeah.
You're not going to win by decision against O'Malley unless you can keep him on the floor. But I've seen a lot of people try and take him down, and he's so evasive. He just gets out of the way of the takedown. He doesn't even get to a clinch. He just gets out of the way. So yeah, guys, I think we might as well carpool
because we're all going in the same direction. He used it.
How happy he is.
I knew it was going to happen one day. That's kind of special. I appreciate that.
It's okay.
Guys, that's the main card, but we've still got like 10 fights. This is fucking nuts. And we're talking about headline of the prelims, as they like to say. Fight's probably going to have the most ESPN numbers all night. Josh Emmett, he's back from injury finally, and he's in to take down and take out Dan 50K Ige. I really like Dan Ige. He's got heart for days. But
yeah, who doesn't?
Josh Emmett hits fucking hard, man. Like Shane Burgos and him, Shane Burgos is a guy that can eat some shit. But eventually Josh Emmett was able to get there. Michael Johnson got knocked the absolute fuck out in a fight that he was winning in the 3rd round by Josh Emmett. The guy has got ridiculous power. And I don't think Dan Ige's got enough in any one direction. He's not going to be able to keep him down, I don't think.
Well, hang on. Is anyone picking Ige? Because in my mind, the only question is, does Ige finally get knocked out? Or does he lose by decision?
I think he gets knocked out, mate.
It's never happened.
He's only had 19 fights, man. It's not like we're talking about somebody with 30 fights.
I know, but when you're talking about your capacity to get knocked out, the fewer fights, the smaller the sample size, the better your chances.
This is true. Listen, he's fought some
I've been going
tough
back
guys.
And forward on this all day.
He's fought some tough guys and he's fought some heavy hitters. But I don't think Barbosa's power is quite the same at featherweight as it was at lightweight. He seems to be a little bit, it's not quite the same. It's not that one punch explosivity anymore.
He's older as well.
And he's older.
I think it's the bigger factor, but it's definitely another factor.
Zombie was more of a combination striker. And the way that Calvin Kattar fought him in that fight, Calvin Kattar felt that was a big fight, was very cautious, really didn't want to get taken down, just kind of controlled it, won at a distance. He knew he had a big fight coming up after that one. He was playing a little safe. And Dan Ige kind of, Teddy talks about this. There are guys where they kind of accept the loss at a certain point and they just sort of go through the motions and try and kind of survive and kind of look a bit active, but it happens. And it happens when you're just dealing with somebody that's way better than you in every department and you go, well, I'm fucked. I'm just going to hang on here. I don't think Josh Emmett gives him that chance. I think Josh Emmett gives him enough hope to lure him in and then knocks him out.
Man, I definitely think there's no way Josh Emmett loses this fight. I'm gonna give Danny Ige enough credit to hang in there till the end. I'm going Emmett by decision.
So yeah, Emmett by decision.
Pedro Munoz versus Dominic Cruz. And you got to wonder why.
Pedro Munoz and DC versus Dominic Cruz.
Yeah. Have you seen DC versus Dominic Cruz on YouTube?
No.
So Dominic Cruz is doing his media scrum, and out of nowhere, just shits all over DC's commentary. Like literally, it's just like, I mute it if he's on. The guy does no homework and preparation. Names all the other guys that do the work as like really good guys, and he's just like, and I love DC, he's my brother, but he needs to do the preparation. He needs to do his homework.
Wow.
So DC gets him on his podcast and is just like, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And he's just like, it's fine. He's like, you know, there's shit that you can just say to me personally, dude. You don't have to go on a fucking national thing. And he's just like, I have no issue with it. We can have this conversation right here. I don't care. You can ask me anything. I have no issue. Everyone can listen. DC's like, what you did was wrong, man. He's just like, no, it wasn't. It's my opinion. And yeah, he literally gets to the point where he's just like, there's something about my commentary that you wouldn't like. Go on, just say it. Just say what you think. Say what you think. And DC's like, no, I think you're a great commentator. He's like, there's something that you don't like about it. So it's like, okay, you're a little dry. He's like, no, I'm not dry. It's like, what? You're not dry?
No. They're both quite reasonable and rational about it until, you know, Bisping comes in. But I mean, honestly, like, Cruz was in the wrong. He always doubles down on his mistakes. He never takes a step backwards, you know, in terms of manners. It's a fucking great interview. Across like a 12-minute interview, they talk about the upcoming fight for about 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And Bisping's in about half of the interview, which just makes it better.
It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've talked about it before, but like the best ever episode of Believe You Me with Michael Bisping and the Puerto Rican rattlesnake Luis J. Gomez. The one where they have Dominic Cruz on, tell him the time that he got drunk with Bisping and Bisping punched his own brother. Because they do Bisping's perspective, Dominic Cruz's perspective, and then they phone up Bisping's brother and they get him to tell them what really happened. It's an amazing podcasting. But Dominic Cruz does not take a step backwards in these things. He fucks up. You know, DC was right. You don't talk about your co-workers in public like that. And admittedly, they have already had this conversation many times face to face, but it's not the fucking same. You don't say that shit like that. I honestly do wonder with some of the mental slips he makes and some of the weird shit he says from time to time, if he isn't just getting a little punchy or just fucking the game's kind of, you know, holding down two jobs like this at a high end level is just wearing on him. But something's got to give. It doesn't feel like Dominic Cruz is at his best ever. And stupid shit like this feels more like a mental lapse than anything else to me. You know? Does anyone else kind of have that concern?
I don't know, because if you're talking about the one guy that didn't really get hit that much in his career, apart from maybe one or two fights, it's...
Well, no, he got hit, but the thing was he didn't get hit often. But he was the decisionator, and he was like a champion for the longest fucking time. So you're talking about 5 rounds going up against some real badass fucking people and not getting hit as much as you're landing, but he still got hit. The whole thing of his his style and approach was a guy that had shit for knees and couldn't move very well, was able to land more than he got hit by being quite elusive and evasive. But make no mistakes, even though Dillashaw kind of ripped him off, Dillashaw did it 1,000 times better because he was very athletic and EPO. Whereas Cruz was this guy with like no fucking knees that just had a very awkward style and was able to then be one of the best in the world at his weight class. But he got hit. And I think he trains pretty fucking hard. He doesn't seem like someone that would undertrain, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. In terms of this fight, whatever you think about his punch drunkenness, and I think there is some weird shit when he called out the fucking Monster Energy rap and stuff like that. It's a little odd, but listen, taking all of that aside, he's fighting Pedro Munoz, who this is like shot number 3 of we're giving you these big legendary names that if you win, you're going to make such a giant step forward and we can put you in exciting fights. He had one against Frankie Edgar, which was razor thin. It's arguably one that the judges gave it the other way. He's had the Aldo fight where he just got outclassed. And this is like attempt number 3. You've got like in this class, the best ever, the most decorated champion in this weight division. And he's older. All the odds are in your favor. Can you finally get that win? Because everyone else in this division, all the guys that are at the top 10 level, you beat. You fucking outclassed Jimmy Rivera. You look fantastic doing it. You knocked out Cody Garbrandt. But this type of fight, can you win it? And honestly, Dominic Cruz is asking for a head kick so many times in this fight. And there's got to be somebody that eventually just throws up the head kick, fakes with the hands and throws the head kick. And eventually it's going to land. And I feel like Pedro's style, where he's very tight and he kicks the legs a lot, you know, he's not going to overexpose himself and he's going to wait for that right moment, even if he's losing at different portions. No, Dominic can take him down, but it's like, at what point do the injuries add up? At what point are you too old? Is the inactivity too much? Is the lack of having any real power that can kind of keep somebody at distance and having to be perfect every time for the whole fight consistently without making mistakes? I'm going Pedro. I'm going Pedro by knockout. It's finally going to happen. Cruz is going to get finished for real.
Yeah, man. I mean, Cejudo, well, you know, it depends how you feel about Keith Peterson, but, you know, Cejudo caught him with that knee while he's dipping down. Yep, he's old, he's slow. The knee injuries take a toll, not just physically, but just, you know, all the fights and all the training time he misses. He's a guy who's perpetually been playing catch up with his own kind of imaginary self. And he burned out a little while ago, in my opinion. Munoz, I'm going to go Munoz by decision, but, you know, I was leaning that way. I don't know. It could be a KO.
Cruz by decision.
Then got to be different. Any reason or just?
I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like Cruz might have a win here. I think it's too close. I just thought, you know what, Cruz. Maybe you guys are wrong.
You're looking to cruise to victory there.
Well, yeah.
Nice.
That's why I took Dominic.
Oh, we got some separation. Be surprised if we got separation on this next one. Tai Tuivasa, Augusto Sakai. I'm just going to put it out there. Shoes are going to be drunk.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know,
Sakai is a volume guy.
But yeah, Tuivasa was taking legit steps forward before he got cut and then re-signed. I feel like he's continued to take steps forward. He's a fun guy. He's fucking switched on. What's his whole fucking thing? Is it like boys from the area or like his whole like childhood crew? He always has like the 3-letter acronym on his shirts and shit. Fuck. I can't even bother to try and Google that. I'll just try and come back next week and apologize for not knowing it today. But yeah, man, Tuivasa. I don't think he's by any means unbeatable. I think he's going to finish up a top 5 guy. And I think Augusto Sakai, unfortunately, on this weekend is just going to be sign of a stepping stone. I'm going Tuivasa by knockout. I'm assuming we're all going Tuivasa by knockout, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to say the line again? Do you
No.
want to do it? Can I drop it? Do you want me to drop it?
Sakai is too much of a volume guy, and there's not. You need to have a wrestling threat or be really good to beat Tai Tuivasa. He's going to hit you. He's going to hit you really hard. It's not going to be particularly pleasant. He's going to drink a shoey. Jordan Wright taking on Bruno Silva. Beverly Hills Ninja, only staying on his record being the loss to Joaquin Buckley. He's looked pretty damn good in all of his other fights. I'm picking Jordan Wright, going knockout.
Nice. This is gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be a very good fight. I'm gonna go Bruno Silva by knockout. I'm not saying Jordan Wright's chinny, but I've kind of seen him rocked. He did get finished by Buckley. Silva can, he's got some hands on him. And as good as Wright is, I think sometimes it works a little to his detriment. He's like a little overconfident. And, he can get caught with light shots. It's like if he was like a welterweight or lightweight, his style would be so much more effective because it's a middleweight and he hasn't got that iron chin and he likes to kind of exchange. It's just always going to be a bit of a liability. You kind of think, you're just not built to eat these shots the same way. I might be wrong. I don't think I am. I'm going Silva by KO.
I've gone for Silva by KO as well.
Okay.
If I had to put a bet on it, I'd probably bet on Jordan Wright, but because
is Silva the favorite in this?
I don't know actually. No, it's even. But I like to bet with my heart, and I like to do the pick show with my knowledge.
Well, we'll see what happens. Next up, friend of the show, legend himself, your boy Eric Anders. He's back at middleweight. He's taking on Andre Muniz. And I would like to formally apologize to Eric Anders because we love you, buddy.
What are you about?
You were great. You were great. And I hate to pick against you. I really do, because I think you got loads of skills. The way Andre Muniz locked in that submission and broke Jacare Souza's arm is really hard for me to delete. Can somebody please tell me something that might dissuade me?
All right, yeah. How about this? Eric Anders. It doesn't matter how outclassed he is, always finds ways to make the fight competitive. He's always fucking in there. And Jacare Ronaldo Souza, he was kind of old. He was very much at the end of his tether. And it wasn't like a vintage Jacare performance. I'm not saying he gave the armbar up cheaply or anything, but it's one of those, Andre Muniz is a really dangerous fighter. He's kind of dangerous everywhere. Jacare still was a big scalp. It's not as impressive as being a legend in their prime. And Eric Anders at 185 is a fucking handful for everybody. The times he's lost has really been against guys, kind of on their best day. I mean, the fight to Khalil Roundtree with Khalil Roundtree, that was the best Roundtree has ever looked, ever. Elias Theodorou is just one of those super awkward guys, like a middleweight Dominic Cruz. He's so fucking tough. It kind of is what it fucking is. It just never looks good. Lost to Thiago Santos. Moreta is who he fucking is. The Lyoto Machida fight was very close. Was that his first main event as well? May well have been. Eric Anders is a fucking beast. He's a gamer. He's always in there till the end. Yeah, shit. I just think as good as Andre Muniz is, I don't know if he's ready for 3 rounds of absolute fucking hell. And I'm not just saying it because he came on our fucking show and because I fucking love the guy and we're like big American football fans. So it's really cool to have a guy like that succeed in MMA. I'm genuinely saying this. The guy finds ways to make these fights competitive. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion by any means. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit, but I feel very confident picking Eric Anders to win this one by decision.
You're very confident. Did you ask him to be on the show this week?
No.
Oh.
I was going to ask him if he wanted to come on afterwards.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Wait. Let's wait till next month when we got our shit together we've got a jingle. Let's get Anders in post jingle.
Post jingle.
To another level. And this time I think that all of us will be a little bit more relaxed than last time, because last time it was quite late at night for us. We'd been smoking a lot of weed, and all of us were terrified of fucking it up.
Yeah.
It was an amazing day, and then watching it back, I'm like, I wish like we were all just like we normally are.
The worst part is that we had the opportunity to ask questions to Eddie Char, and we just completely blanked it off. And we're just
we were so scared of fucking everything up by that point that we were just like, this is a good opportunity to like walk away, right? Yeah, let's get out of here with our something intact. It wasn't egos or dignity per se. I don't know. Hey, first one out of the system though. I'm sure the next interview with Eddie Char is going to go a lot better.
Very nice. Sly, what's your pick?
Andrew Muniz, I think he's got too much. He's got too much propagandas and he's got the wrong things.
A plague on both your houses.
I know. Anders, forgive
submission.
me. I'm also saying submission. I'm sorry. Please still come on our show if I'm wrong. Next up, Miranda Maverick, Erin Blanchfield. We're going to speed round these a little bit. I'm just a big Miranda Maverick fan. I like what Blanchfield's doing. She's fresher in the UFC. She hasn't been tested against the same level. I think Maverick bounces back from her robbery against Macy Barber. Gets the win by decision.
There's no way Erin Blanchfield doesn't win this by decision.
Really?
Yeah. I looked into this.
Isn't Maverick one of the biggest favorites on the card? I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure she's a big favorite on this. Oh no, it's close on the betting line. I apologize.
Yeah.
She is a favorite though. You're on Blanchfield.
Yeah, I got this decision.
No, I'm gonna be careful about it because I know that if I shit all over your pick and then make my pick, that for whatever reason karma just fucks with whoever I picked. I'm gonna very respectfully say Miranda Maverick, you fucking moron. As respectfully as I can.
Can I just say, imagine if it would be pretty fucking cool if it turned out that the fate of these picks is specifically decided by what we choose on this card and how karma wants to fuck us. Like, imagine having that much power. We get fucking Instagram fucking.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I'd say, like, we'd figure it out and we'd die rich men. But the problem is that the one that does the better out of this usually is Sly. He already said that how he picks, with his head. I mean, he bets with his heart. So he's destined to lose money because he bets the same way we bet.
Well, actually, that's why I try and bet against Sly. It worked out really well for me last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not betting with my heart or my head.
He was just betting. It was fantastic.
And with your nose. Podcast.
Anyway,
where are we, guys?
We're at. I'm picking Miranda Maverick by decision. I think just Josh's as well. I'm assuming. So we're on to Alex Perez and his first fight back since losing to Figueiredo, which surprised me. Oh, you're on mute, buddy. You're still on mute.
Sorry, accidentally clicked the wrong button and then everything froze. He had a lot of fights cancelled. Like a lot of fights cancelled. I mean, he was supposed to fight Moreno before Moreno got his title shot. This is the third time the Schnell-Fats fight's been arranged. I think he had an injury in between the Moreno and the first Schnell booking. But either way, Alex Perez is back. And this is not necessarily a good fight to be wanting to kind of, knock the rust off. Matt Danger Snell really earns that nickname. That said, the dude is a little beatable. He's just kind of an overachiever, although still very impressive. I got to believe, it would take a lot for Perez to lose this fight. Like, it would take a lot. I just think he's going to win.
Alex Perez is going to win this easily.
All three for Alex Perez. Methods, gentlemen?
KO.
Decision. But
say,
honestly, he could Chanel leaves himself open for knockouts sometimes. He's no slouch on the ground, but I can see Paris submitting him. I'm going decision just to try and kind of split the diff, but I
and
don't fuck.
I'm going to say decision as well. And we move on to featherweight. Ryan the Wizard Hall. He's back against Derek Minner, which I think is a far more reasonable level of fight for Ryan Hall to come back to than Ilia Topuria. He was a
Why'd you
little
jinx
exposed.
it?
He was a little exposed. Listen, it's still a tough fight, but I feel like elements of what he does were exposed by Topuria, but Topuria is such a beast that he's exactly the kind of person that can expose those sorts of things. I feel we need to see a little bit more, though, than half-step rolls to the side. There has to be a little bit more. You know, when you look at a fight like the Gray Maynard fight, so much else was done to set that up. And he was doing Imanari rolls as well. He was landing regular takedowns. You know, he was getting in positions where he could establish top control. So even if the submission doesn't land, he's in a position where he's then winning large sections of the round. And that's what he needs to be able to do. It was always going to be tough against Topuria. I think he does. I think he wins this fight by decision against Derek Minner.
I don't think Derek Minner's like a huge step down. Ilia Topuria is amazing, but you know, Derek Minner's still got wins over Charles Rosa, T-Rack, Clay Collards, and his losses are against, you know, really good guys. Still, Ryan Hall plays a mean pinball. I'm going with the Wizard by sub.
I think this is not a good fight for Derek Minner. I think he's someone that likes to take you down. He likes to have the control. He likes to be a bit close to you. And these are all things that Ryan Hall is looking for. He's looking for someone that wants to be close, that wants to go to the ground. So I think it's Ryan Hall by submission.
Right, I'll say Ryan Hall by decision. And Randy Coaster taking on Tony Kelly. Very biasly, I'm just a big Randy Coaster fan. I think he's going to win this by knockout.
It's a tough one. I think Tony Kelly's good. It's just I kind of feel like they're more or less around the same level, and Randy's just so much fucking younger. I don't know, maybe a little bigger, but yeah, I'm gonna go Costa by decision.
I'm going to have to go for the Zohan by KO.
Nice. Then first up on the card, Gillian Robertson is back, taking on Priscilla. I believe she's taking on Priscilla Cochera. Although on Google it just says blank blank.
Yeah, I've got it here on the official UFC page. It's Priscilla Cochera.
Yeah. Makes more sense than blank blank.
Oh, but she is called the Zombie Girl. That's maybe why it's blank.
It's like a mirror. It's like zombies. Blank. It's like vampires in the mirror.
What?
I'm just gonna Google Cachoeira COVID. So if anything pings back.
Why? Because she's called Zombie.
No, because if someone calls out the day before weigh-ins in these times, it's usually for COVID. And yeah, actually last year she had to pull out of a fight because of COVID. So that's the only hit I can find. I'm going to assume this fight's going ahead.
Assuming this fight's going ahead. It's been a rough road for Gillian Robertson. She takes a step forward, step back, a couple of steps forward, step back. Now she's had a couple of steps back. Was it Tyler Santos that she fought and just got completely dominated?
Miranda Maverick lost to I think she's got a few losses or like a couple more losses since the Santos fight.
She lost to Macy Barber. I know she lost to Miranda Maverick.
Actually, no, my bad. Since Tyler Santos, just the Miranda Maverick loss. So she's only on the 2-fight skid. But
2-fight skid, but I'm just going to say this. I don't think that she should be at flyweight. I think when she comes up against the really strong, athletic, physical women, she's just not able to implement a game. And there's no genuine threat on the feet. She throws strikes, but there's nothing behind them. You can just kind of walk through her. Cochera is going to be I think she can definitely out-grapple Koshera. It's just about can she get to the fight, and is Priscilla, which is easier to say, going to be able to sort of do anything too damaging or keep the fight standing? I'm going to go Robertson. I'm going to go Robertson by sub.
Robertson by KO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robertson decision. Yeah, I did make that sound. That's fair.
We did it, guys. That's 15 picks, and he took best part of over an hour.
Wow.
But big card, it deserves the attention. And yeah, we'll be back next week to talk about what's happened. Lots of storylines I'm sure are going to develop, and it's going to be an awesome weekend. Guys, enjoy the fights. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next
Bye,
week.
Laurie.
Bye, Dave. Bye,
Bye,
Lee.
Dave.
Trufo. Bye, Laurie.